The Kremlin has said it still views U.S. President Donald Trump as committed to resolving the war in Ukraine, despite his recent remarks appearing to back Kiev's push to reclaim territory from Russia. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told reporters that Moscow believes the Trump administration maintains the political will for peace talks and reiterated that Russia remains open to negotiations. Peskov also welcomed Trump's call for a global ban on biological weapons, calling the idea brilliant and saying Russia is ready to take part in formalizing such an initiative at the international level. Russia says it struck Ukraine's military power grid and drone sites at Kiev as Kiev reported successful attacks on oil and UAV facilities inside Russia. Moscow said its forces destroyed a key substation powering Ukraine's military industry, along with drone sites and troop positions, and are close to seizing a settlement in northern Donetsk. Ukraine's military claimed strikes on an oil refinery in Bashkortostan, pumping stations in Volgograd, and a UAV plant in Belgorod. President Zelensky proposed a potential meeting with President Putin in a neutral country, though the Kremlin dismissed the idea without prior preparation as a PR stunt. Ukrainian President Zelensky said he is ready to meet Vladimir Putin anywhere but Moscow, as Russia named Istanbul its preferred venue for potential talks. Speaking during a U.S. visit, Zelensky renewed calls for direct talks, while Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Putin is open to a meeting but warned that without preparation it would be a PR stunt. Kazakhstan also offered to host and facilitate negotiations, urging preliminary groundwork to build mutual understanding. Kiev has so far shown little interest in Moscow's proposal to create working groups ahead of high-level talks. President Vladimir Putin inaugurated the World Atomic Week Forum in Moscow, bringing together global leaders and nuclear industry officials. The annual event held from September 25th to the 28th at Moscow's All Russia Exhibition Center, focusing on the global nuclear sector and related fields. The IAEA chief, Rafael Grossi, and leaders from Belarus, Myanmar, and Armenia were among the attendees. Before the plenary session, Rosatom chief Alexei Likachev led a tour of the Atom Museum for visiting dignitaries. The Kremlin said Putin will also hold bilateral talks with foreign delegations during the forum. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz called for stronger NATO deterrence against repeated Russian airspace incursions, vowing Berlin will not allow them to continue. Speaking alongside state governors, Merz backed NATO's tough stance after the alliance warned Moscow it would use all necessary military and non-military tools to defend itself. His remarks follow a series of drone and jet incursions across Europe, which officials see as part of a broader pattern of Russian hybrid disruption. Merz said NATO's unified response is absolutely right and essential to preventing further violations.
In den letzten Tagen mehrfach Stellung genommen zu den sehr ernstzunehmenden Vorfällen, die wir im NATO-Raum sehen, im Luftraum, aber auch im gesamten Seegebiet.
Turkey has deployed an AWACS surveillance aircraft to Lithuania as part of NATO security measures following repeated Russian drone incursions into European airspace. The temporary deployment, part of NATO's assurance measures, runs from September 22nd to the 25th and enhances detection of low-flying drones beyond ground radar range. It follows airspace violations reported by Lithuania, Estonia, Denmark and Poland, prompting the alliance to strengthen its eastern defenses. Western officials say Moscow is testing NATO's readiness. Turkey, NATO's second largest military, maintains ties with Russia while supporting Ukraine and condemning the invasion. U.S. President Donald Trump welcomed Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan to the White House on Thursday for talks on U.S. sanctions and Ankara's blocked F-35 bid amid new alignment on Syria, but sharp discord over Israel's war in Gaza. It's Erdogan's first White House visit in about 6 years. Ankara hopes the friendlier mood and mutual praise can ease U.S. sanctions imposed in 2020 over Turkey's Russian S-400 purchase, opening a path back to Lockheed Martin's F-35 program. While Washington and Ankara now back Syria's central government, they remain far apart on Gaza, which Turkey calls genocide. Trump signaled optimism ahead of the meeting, saying he expects F-35 talks to conclude positively. Polish climber Andrzej Bargil became the first person to summit Mount Everest without oxygen and ski down to base camp. Bargil climbed from Camp 4 to Everest's 8,849-meter summit in over 16 hours before skiing down via the South Col to Camp 2, continuing the next day through the perilous Khumbu icefall to reach base camp. The 37-year-old, who first skied down K2 without oxygen in 2018, now holds a historic double, the only person to achieve full ski descents of both K2 and Everest without supplemental oxygen.